the next morning, still a piece of oak in there burning, nice coals all the way to the back. So all I have to do is put in a fresh piece. And that's going to catch right on. No need for more kindling. That oak is so nice and dry. Perfect. Hi, Chad with Purple Collar Life, and as you can see right over my shoulder, that's all I have left of my inside firewood. We've had a lot of questions lately about firewood, how much we have, and why does it seem like we're always trying to find so much. So a little bit of a reminder how we got where we are today, and I'm going to show you what we have in stock for firewood for our home use. So here you can see pellets that we have left. That's a little bit over a ton of pellets left to get us through the rest of the winter in the pellet stove. Here I just restocked the inside firewood for just coming out and grabbing for the wood burner. So as far as what we've got left outside, what you're looking at is what we've got in the IBC totes close to the house. This is the wood that we tried to salvage. So let's take a look at that. Here's the stuff that we went through and split smaller. I have been picking at that, mixing it in with my good seasoned wood. And as long as I mix it together, it works fine. I've been doing the same with this bunch. This is some bigger stuff, but mix it in with my regular seasoned wood and it's doing okay. I mix about one piece of this in with 2 pieces of the good stuff. Here is some of my seasoned pile that's covered with a tarp. That's ready to burn, stuff that's easy for me to grab and carry into the house. Usually put it in the back of the Ranger, but as you know, the Ranger 4-wheel drive is not working, and now this ground that you're looking at is solid. You can see my feet aren't even crushing through the top layer. I'm on top of about 6 inches of snow right now, but it's so solid up on top that unless you crunch through it, you can't get down through it. Okay, so other firewood supply, we've got all these rounds under tarp, and then the center section's not tarped anymore. We did a video about these, how they actually are seasoning being rounds, which was surprising to me. I wouldn't think they would. But some of these pieces, when you split them, they are already at about 15 to 18%, which is fine for me to burn. So I have been splitting and carrying these in as necessary. So these rounds, that wood that's already split under tarp, the wood in the IBC totes, that was all we had left for firewood this year. We are currently just about the middle of February, so I still need quite a bit of firewood to get us through the winter. It stays cold here even until March or April. So we'll burn that fire to take the chill off even once it starts to warm up because it's still chilly at night. Now let me show you what firewood I have for future years. So here's an absolutely full tote, 1/3 of a cord, split in the fall. It's going to take some more time to season. You can see it is starting to dry. Those wood pieces are starting to crack. There's maple up on top, cherry in the bottom. So that's going to be a good 1/3 cord of firewood. Got this tote. It's a pretty good mix there at the back. It is starting to season pretty good. It's not quite ready for this year. You can see there's some bigger pieces back there that are taking longer to season. So this will be a little bit of firewood for next winter. And then of course we've got this 1/3 of a cord of cherry in the left tote, and about 2/3 of a full tote of cherry in the right tote. This was all the cherry that we split from those big rounds. And then we do have some downed firewood throughout the woods there that needs cut. You can see that leaner right there. That's a nice dead piece of wood that we yanked down and cut up, and it should be ready within a year. So there's still firewood to get to, but I don't have a whole lot ready. So if you're asking, where's all your firewood? You make all these videos about firewood. Where's your supply? This is about it. And let's remember how we got to this situation. For about 18 months straight, we were working and schooling from home. Our house is all electric. So anytime I can burn the wood stove to keep that electric heat from kicking on as often, I do it. When we were home for 18 months straight, all those cold months, I had a fire going 24/7. We burnt through a lot of firewood last year and the year before. So for 2 winters, we burnt through at least twice the firewood we normally would. Probably 3 times the firewood in reality. So that's where all of our stock went. Last winter we ran out of firewood. We actually had to buy firewood from some other people. We had some experiences there and we learned a lot about who to buy firewood, who not to buy firewood from, and what that firewood should look like when you're buying it from someone else. It was our first ever time buying firewood, so we were definitely newbies when it came to buying firewood. We had always just cut firewood from our own land, split and stacked it, and burnt what we had cut on our own. So that was a new experience. We made a couple videos about it. I'll put some links to those up above. But that's how we got where we are. Normally we have a surplus so we can let it season a couple years ahead. That's no longer the case. This firewood will be next winter's firewood, and let me show you what I did to get us through the rest of this winter. I actually did a video a few weeks ago about a $40 bargain of firewood. It was a whole truckload of firewood for $40. And that's actually a guy that I bought firewood from late in the year last year. I found that his firewood was excellent. A little bit longer than I was used to, but we found that it worked out really good. Excellent quality firewood, mostly oak, about 90% oak. So really good stuff. Really happy to have it. Well, I knew that he was going to be running low, so I sent him a text message and said, hey, I'd like to get some more firewood. Do you have much left? And he said he has about a cord. So I immediately texted back and said, I'll take all of it. This was all that he had left to sell. This is over a cord of good, really well seasoned wood. They cut this in 2017, so this wood has been seasoning for 5 years now. Great oak, well covered, facing the south. Plenty of wind out in the middle of a field, so great seasoned oak. And this is actually my favorite firewood. The firewood that I bought from him has burned far superior than anything else that I've ever cut or split on my own. Now, we did a video previously about why everything you see on our channel is cherry, and I'll put a link to that video up above. But obviously oak is the better burning wood. We just don't have the supply of it here at our house. So I think that this oak that you're looking at, which is more than a cord, plus the stuff you saw in the basement, which was also part of this oak stockpile, I believe this will get us through the rest of this winter. We may even actually have a little bit left over between the other stuff we have stocked up and this. So great that I was able to get this. This was $150 for this 1+ cord of great oak firewood. So hopefully this will get us through the rest of this year and the start of next year. Then we'll have that cherry, and we've got to do a lot of cutting and splitting in the spring to get caught up with supply that can season for future years. Either that, or we've got to find another really good supplier, because we enjoy burning the buck stove and heating up the house with that rather than turning on the electric baseboard heaters. Now some people have asked, and it's a good question, why don't you put an outside wood boiler in, boil that water, send it in to heat the house? Well, how electric baseboard heat works is there's no piping. So our electric baseboard heaters are connected to an electric wire that supplies the heat in each room. So in order to add a boiler system, we'd actually have to add plumbing all through the house for radiant heat. We'd have to add radiant heaters and then copper pipe or whatever PEX line plumbing to get to all those heaters to 2 floors of our house. As you can imagine, that would be cost prohibitive. So we're going to stick with the electric baseboard heat and heating with the wood stove in the basement. So several of you have asked to see our supply of wood. Now you've seen it. You can see we don't have that much to get us through the rest of this winter. Lots of cutting and splitting to do up ahead. I'm actually trying to find an Amish guy that'll help me do some cutting. We've got lots of treetops down in the woods behind us. I just need to get in there and get them cut. And quite frankly, I just don't have the time right now. I work a regular full-time job. We've got the side mowing business going on, so we're pretty busy. But if I could find a local Amish guy that's willing to go back in the woods and buck up those treetops for me, bring them out here as rounds, I'd love to split away at them and make a supply for next year and the next year. I'd like to get 2 years ahead. So hopefully if this video informed or entertained you in some way, we'd appreciate you give us a thumbs up. It always helps out the video and helps out the channel. And then leave a comment down below. How many years ahead of a stockpile do you like to have for your winter firewood supply? And did the pandemic and staying home and burning the fire more often deplete your supply like it depleted ours? Love to know. I know that there's a huge firewood shortage right now, and I'm guessing it's because of people like us who have run out of their own supply and had to buy from other people. Again, thanks for watching Purple Collar Life. We really appreciate it. Hit that subscribe button if you're not already following us, and we'll see you again the next time. In case you're wondering about this wood pile, each one of these 2 rows is 12 feet long, 5 feet high at its highest, and then of course you see we dwindle down here off the bottom of that pallet to being on the floor. So definitely a full cord. These pieces are each 24 inches wide. So if you look at the stack this way, you'd see 2 rows of 24-inch stacks. So we've got 48 inches wide here. Really good supply of high quality firewood. You just throw that stuff in the fire. If you've got coals left in the bottom of the fireplace, it catches right on, burns hot, burns a long time, and leaves great coals for the next time.
Did you go for a ride with Daddy?
What do you think about that load of oak?
Yeah.
It's beautiful wood.
Probably bad idea that we didn't already get more.
Yep.